Hi, and welcome to the final of the Abalone Championships, World Championships at the Mind Sports Olympiad 2017. I'm Steve Rain.
I'm Ankush Kandalwal.
And we're here commentating on the final between, I can't remember the names, Ankush?
It's David Pearce on the left and Vincent Frochot on the right. Now, David Pearce is the all-time medal leader at the Mind Sports over the last 20 years. He's an excellent games player, especially abstract strategy games like Abalone. And Vincent Frochot, he's won the Abalone World Championships countless times, so this should be a cracking encounter.
So I've played Abalone a bit, and so I'm just going to go through the rules for those of you who haven't played before or forgotten. The idea is that they're starting very fast now, but the idea is you get one move on your turn, and you get to either move a single piece, two or three pieces, and you can move them in the same direction. Effectively, if you move them all in the same direction they're currently facing, you get to push anything in front of them. And what you're trying to do is push 6 of your opponent's pieces off the board before they push 6 of yours off. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And like most abstract strategy games, this is about central control of the board, and it's quite a fascinating game.
Yeah, so these are set up slightly differently to the way they're set up in the base game. In the base game, from what I've gathered, you have all the black pieces on one side and all the white on the other. And on this particular one, it's an alternate setup, you said, where you've got kind of black and white together on either side?
I believe it's called the flower setup. I'm not 100% sure. I think that the base setup is unbalanced in some way, so for tournament play they have a different setup.
Okay. And it makes getting the middle a bit harder to get, because if you put all yours in one middle, you can get surrounded quite easily?
Yes. If I remember correctly, there was some sort of like a repetition rule that made the other setup like unplayable.
So a repetition rule, so such as if they do the same move several times in a row?
Yeah, there was something unbalanced about it. I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly
Okay.
what.
I guess when they make these sort of games, the experts at the game will come along and break the game somehow. So Black's getting himself caught a bit near this corner, near this top left corner. If White moves towards them, he can start pushing some of Black's pieces off.
Yeah, right now no pieces have been captured. It looks like Black's got some central control, but as you say, there's this island at the top where it looks a little bit dangerous for Black.
So White made a move there where you don't have to push the pieces in the same direction. You find yourself often wanting to do that, but what you can do is take a row of 3 and move them to the side. So you can kind of move them out of the way of an attack, or you can move them, in this case, he's moved them into a way to stop Black kind of joining their forces up as such. And if Black has the opportunity to push a white piece off there, why did he not take it, do you think? So the previous move, Black had 3 in a row and White had 1 on the edge.
That's an interesting question. I think it's because he has that option at all points. If White were to move his piece to protect that, then it would leave... Right now there's a column of 3 white pieces. If White was to move the top piece out of the way, then his 2 would become isolated, and the black 3 in the center would have pushed the white 2 towards the edge. So I think that piece is almost dead, and it's just a matter of timing of when to capture rather than do
so
it
now he's done the move I said he should have done last turn. Whether I'm right or not, obviously, he's a lot better player than I am.
I'm sure he saw that possibility, but he just decided it wasn't the optimal time.
Because again, Black, so I think it's a lot more about positioning, because White had the opportunity to push a black piece off there, but rather than do that and leave himself isolated, he's tried to consolidate his pieces.
I agree.
So you were actually at the Mind Sports this year. Did you play in this event?
I didn't play in the Abalone, but I played in many of the other events.
What was your favourite?
My favourite tournament would have to be the Acquire tournament at the Mind Sports.
Oh, you do like that game. I've not actually played it with you, but you do seem to, you go on and on about it.
It's just tactically really well balanced. There's perhaps a little bit too much luck in the tile drawing variants, but otherwise it's a game of precision.
So it looks like here, because like you said earlier, Black is controlling the centre of the board very well. Black's got a few pieces on the edge that White can attack, but in doing so White might weaken their own position. And you've got this interesting thing actually, because Black's actually got 4 in a row in the middle, but you can't move all 4 at once, can you? You can only move up to 3. What was your favourite event? Oh, so your favourite event was acquire. What event did you do the best in?
I won a gold in acquire.
Oh, congratulations.
I got some other golds too.
You won it one year, didn't you? You won the overall, it was 2012, was it?
2013, I won the overall competition.
Okay, congratulations. Well done. You've got an expert in the field here, guys. So black's got almost an impenetrable diamond in the middle, a rhombus shape, with threes going in nearly every direction.
This looks like a very strong position for black.
So even though the scores are currently tied at 1 each,
it's going to be so hard for white to find 5 pieces to push off the board. 5 marbles, I should say.
There's 4 marbles currently on the edge, but white actually isn't. He can get one of them, can't he?
Yes.
He can get this one on the left-hand side. Now he can't.
This looks positionally 1 for black.
Okay. Do you think it's all over now, do you?
I do.
So even though black isn't using all of his pieces, the pieces that he is using is just using so efficiently. And the white hasn't actually got any ways to disrupt this kind of like behemoth in the middle. Where was the Mind Sports held this year?
It's been held in London for the past 7 years, I'm going to say. Maybe a bit more.
Which venue in London?
It's at the JW3 Centre in Finchley Road.
Okay. And how many events does it have going at any time?
At any one time, maybe there are about between 3 to 5 events, I would say. And over the course of the week and a half, there are a total of around 50 events played.
Okay. 3 to 5 a day, some more, some less?
Yes.
And are there any events that are multiple days, or are they all one-day events?
They're all one-day events. Some events are just one session and just say the morning, and some events are the morning and the afternoon. It's 3 to 5 events at any one session time, but in a day there might be like 10 events possibly.
Okay. And they're adding more events each year, are they? Because obviously there are some games in the Mind Sports Olympiad that are fairly new, like I believe Splendor was here.
Yes.
And Splendor's only been out like 4 years itself.
That's correct, Steve. So sometimes if a game is gaining popularity, it gets added to the Mind Sports if we think people want to play it.
And obviously the game has to have a high strategic element to it. Can't be too much luck involved.
That's correct.
So again, just for those of you who don't quite know the rules, to push other pieces, you'll notice sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. To push other pieces, you need to have more pieces that you're moving than the ones you're pushing effectively. So if black has 3 here but white has 3 here, neither of those sets of 3 can actually push the other 3. So it's why black's got such a strong position in the middle, that all his pieces can effectively push any white pieces surrounding it effectively, because he's just got so many in a row. See, white's threatening to push one of black pieces off, but if he does that, he's just going to get pushed straight back off himself. Black's forcing the issue now.
Black is always maintaining his strong central shape, and white has to do something to counter this, otherwise eventually his pieces are just going to get knocked off one by one and the game will be over.
Yeah. So what could you do as white to pivot? Do you have to just wait for a mistake, or is there a way to kind of get around this, or kind of join your pieces up from the other side?
I don't think there's a simple answer, Steve. You have to just keep trying to create some counterplay, and I hope black slips up.
It's looking bleak now. There's a lot of the white pieces around the edge of the board that get pushed off. In fact, there's 2 that can get pushed off now, and you can save 1 of them, but that's not it seems more like a delaying tactic. I believe black's going to get 2 white pieces from this move. He saved the 1, but I believe if black pushes the top row of 3 facing left, pushes one of white's 2 off, white can't actually save the other one either, so he's going to lose both.
I think if black were to move that, then white could push his 3 on the left up 1.
Okay.
And
oh yeah, Yeah.
That would compromise black's shape a little bit. So maybe he doesn't want to do that.
So white can now move his 2 bits into the space vacated by black and try and... Because black can't actually move him out of the way now, can he?
Yeah, that looks like a reasonable idea.
Oh, he's chose
David chose to move the other piece in that direction.
Which is fine too, because he still can't move it back out of the way, and now David's got 3 white pieces pushing the 2 black pieces towards the bottom right.
Exactly, and now Vincent, he saw that coming and protected his position by getting a group of 3 to counter David's 3.
Because if David managed to push through, he'd split up the forces of black.
Yes, he would have like got back some central control.
So he's threatening the 3rd of David's 3 white pieces in a row here. David can counter by pushing up his 3 whites towards the north position, but then Vincent can push the white piece back. So yeah, so David's 3 in a row is gone, that powerful 3 in he got. So he can capture a black piece, but it's effectively doing it 1 for 1 now, isn't it?
It would be a trade, because Vincent can now knock the white piece back. He could recapture.
Yeah, so black's taken a 3-1 lead here, and so obviously any trades at 1 for 1 favour black, because a 1 for 1 for trade will go from 3-1 to 4-2. So white's looking for a single piece without losing one, I think. I actually bought this game in 2003. I went to a local game shop, a friendly local gaming store, and asked them what was new hot gaming. I'd just played Carcassonne like a couple of months before or something. I really enjoyed that, and they said, "What's the new one?" They'd be pointing this out to me. Quite like my abstract strategy games, but often I find I've got no one to play it with. Have I played you at this?
I don't think we've played this game together.
No, we've played Boku, haven't we?
We've played Boku.
Yeah.
And you showed me the GIMP series? Is that
Yeah, the GIMP series of games. It's probably definitely is a series of games. It's so strong and so strategic. The GIMP series is a games of 7 games. I think they've got a 7th one out now. They retired one, brought another one in, and then they've now brought one called Link, spelt really weird. And that's the only one I actually haven't had a chance to play yet. So this is the 1 for 1 we were talking about. It's actually going to be a 2 for 1, isn't it? Because you can take another black piece off here, but you leave yourself in such a weak position as white. You can actually get a 2nd black piece here. But you've got so few pieces left to start pushing around on that top left side of the board that you're just going to get swarmed by black in a sec. So if you do this.
Let's see if he goes for it.
He takes it. He's now gained 1 back, but he's in such a weak position now. He's going to move. Yeah. The Vincent has moved those out of the way, so David's just trying to escape with as many marbles as he can from that corner now. I believe he's going to lose 1 more if David moves those 3 black towards those 2 white in the top left. He's chosen not to do that. He's trying to solidify his position again. And remember, he's still 4-3 up. He's also 4 minutes up on time. So what happens if the time runs out in these games?
I believe in most tournaments, if you lose on time, you lose the game.
Okay, so even if you're winning the game, but you've taken more time and you eventually got to 0 time, you lose?
Yes. In some tournaments, you get a time increment, which means after every turn, you get a few seconds added to your clock, but it doesn't appear to be the case in this tournament.
Okay. So now black needs 1 more piece to win the game, so white can't even take any more 1 for 1s anymore. White's got to find 3 black pieces on the board, and he's still in a weaker position as well. That's interesting. So basically black has pushed a white piece into the middle of the black ones. White can't solidify it, and if black can move some out of the way and push that white piece towards the bottom left, white can't do much about it.
That white piece is truly surrounded.
Yeah. What's your favourite GIP series games? I don't know how many you've played.
I've only played them with you. I honestly don't remember what each one was.
So you had Tsar was the one you effectively playing cat and mouse, making bigger pieces and trying to. You get 2 moves a turn. You've got to take on your first move. My favourite is Yinch, which is Othello-like. You've got the discs and you're trying to get 5 in a row. Yeah, it looks over now because I believe
Black's got
it's actually 5-4. I missed a piece. I didn't realise there was been another piece taken, but black is dominant now. Black can push this white piece. Yeah, so white can't get out that way now. There's not much white can do from this position. Black's just going to move that out of the way, I believe. Oh no. Oh, it's even better. So he's threatening this white piece. And he's still got that couple of white pieces separated from the rest of them. I believe the next move black will make, if white doesn't do anything about it, is to push those three black ones to the left downwards and pushing that white one towards the edge.
White has no counter here at all.
Well, we can move out of the way, can't he?
In which direction?
He'd have to move it to the left, wouldn't he? I think he's realised, shaking his head, he's realised he's lost. I believe black's won there, yeah. White couldn't avoid that, I don't think.
I don't think so. So Vincent Frochot will defend his World Championship title. And congratulations to him.
Yeah, well done. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching, guys.